What's good, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Glenn Grant Podcast Network's I-80 football show. As always, I'm your host, Jordan, and I'm here with my co-host, Dante.
How's it going, man?
It's going. It's all right. Actually, I got to work from home today because the in-laws were coming in and, hotels don't open until 3, so they needed a place to be. So I got to work from home today, and I'm off for the rest of the week until Monday.
Nice.
Yeah, we're hosting Thanksgiving, so it's not really time off.
Nope.
Because we'll be cooking. And anyone who, specifically, if you're married or dating a black woman or you have a black mom or grandma, it doesn't matter how nice they are. When they start cooking for other people, they get mean. So
Real mean.
I'm gonna be up. I'm not gonna be out the way because I'm cooking a couple of things. Like I'm not. Our relationship is not like super traditional where I just get to sit on the couch and watch football. I'll be cooking a couple of things, but I'm also trying to be up out the way before I start getting yelled at. And we live in New York, as you all know, so this the kitchens are small.
Right.
Yeah. And this is she's not going to listen to this, but if she does, this is just jokes.
Yeah.
She always say I be having her sound like she's mean. I'm like, you're not mean. I just be joking. People know I'm joking.
No.
She can be like, I know what you're about to say.
I was about to say,
in general, she's not.
Like, yeah, she not for real. She not for real, but
yeah, it's very much. I'm not a killer. I'm not a.
She hates the story, so I'm never going to tell that story here because I know she hates that story. I know. I'm done telling it and all, but yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. We'll just leave it alone because
she really hates that story. It's really bad in the life for her. She hates it, so I understand. I'll never tell it, but she got her moments.
No.
But I think everybody does, honestly and truthfully.
Yeah, but also I'd be like, it's for me. And this doesn't happen as much anymore because we're not in college. So like the people who know us. But my favorite thing is when people know me and meet her and they're like, how? And I'm like, just wait. like I am mean. Like I'm mean, but like I'm not saying that she condones it, but you can't be with someone as mean as I am and not have a little bit in your spirit. You can't be with someone as mean as me and not have a little hate in your heart. Like
it's something there. It's something there.
And I used to get it all the time. And like my I'll never forget this. My line brothers, who again, I'm in a black fraternity. They're the people that joined at the same time as me. For those of you who don't know, my line brothers used to always like, "How did you pull Zarya?" All this other kind of stuff, whatever. Like, and then we went somewhere. We went to Cleveland, and me and her went bar for bar with like Young Dolph, Gucci, and if you look at her, you don't think she listens to that. But her mom, like she grew up with her mom listening to Jay-Z, so it's not even like I put her onto that. Like she listens to like rap music and not like she listens to like drug dealing music, whatever, trap music. So bar for bar. And then something else happened. I remember we were talking about something or something happened. She went off a little bit, and I'm driving. And I just hear. And they're talking about, okay, we get it. Because like she is like much nicer than me, which is not a high bar to clear, but she's so much nicer than me. And so like from the outside, I do get it, but like you just gotta catch her.
Nah, mine's the opposite. Mine the opposite. So when I found out that y'all like dated and then got back together, I was like, I legit was like, because I knew Jordan, but I got to know Zarya more before I got to know you. So when I found that out and then I got to know you, I was like, why isn't anyone surprised by this? Do y'all not know Zarya?
No, they don't. They don't, bro. They don't. When they find out, they be like, it's in there. It may be a little deep. Mine is at the surface. Like mine is at the surface. Hers may be.
Yeah, you just don't care.
But...
she likes she is her niceness is real, and it just covers it up more. Where you is just like, like people used to ask that. People used to say it all the time with like me and my ex. It was funny. They'd be like, how are you with him? He's so mean. And I'm like, guys.
2 plus 2. If I'm mean and she with me, and we've been together for what do you
Like, especially that the one thing that really blew me would be like her own family.
so do you not know her?
That's why I'm like, your family don't know you. Why you always saying that? Because I'm like, how are they lost
Yeah,
that you are with me and I'm mean?
that's
I'm
crazy.
like, you're a bully. All right.
Not you're a bully's crazy.
You're a bully. Like, I've seen her with her sister. She's told me stories, and I go, you know, you're a bully, right? She goes, no. I'm like,
Like,
a little bit. I don't know why people didn't like me. I'm like, I mean, like, I get where you coming from, but also,
yeah, no,
like, come
no.
on, now. I was like, oh, because I just don't hide my facial expressions when your family says something stupid. But I was like, but when we get in the car, yeah, I'm the bad guy. But when we get in the car, it's my mom a fucking like you dogging the mess out of both of them.
Yeah, it's always like I said, it doesn't happen that much anymore because at this point, almost 30, the people we know. But boy, that moment when it like clicked with someone who was like, man, like the only thing that I have to say is I think my wife is fairly attractive. I'm just glad nobody tried to pull the how did you pull her like try to say that I wasn't. Because there's this podcast that I listen to.
I swear
there's this
to
podcast
God.
that I listen to, and this one dude on the podcast, like everyone would tell him he outkicked his coverage. I would spaz. I would like, what are you talking about? Like, and that is not a compliment. That is not a compliment. And at first he like laughed and like joked about it, but then it kept coming up, and he low key spazzed about it. And the thing is, to be fair, like to societal standards, he did right, but like you also got to remember first of all, he's bigger. Some people like big people. Like he's bigger and his wife is like tiny. Like she's like whatever. But you got to remember, like some people like bigger people. Like not every like like that's not a problem. And it's not like he's like super ugly or whatever. But then the other thing is like even if not, right, it's like the fat funny guy kind of thing. Like they pull baddies all the time. So it was just hilarious that like at first he thought it was like a joke, but like and then they started doing like live streaming and stuff, and people just kept mentioning it, and he spazzed. And I'm like, you can wonder like how we connect personality wise, but don't play me. Like don't play me.
Because like some people have done that too, like especially with the personality thing. I'll be like, I am mean, but I'm hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hilarious. And I was like, and I'm smart, which also makes me mean. Like,
yeah. So, I always mix up nice and kind, but like I don't think I'm nice.
Yeah,
but I'm kind. Like
that's a Midwest thing, though.
I take
East Coast Midwest thing. They said people from the Midwest on the East Coast are kind. And people on the West Coast, people are nice but not kind. Like we'll do stuff for you, but we'll complain and dog you about it.
Right? Yeah.
But this is how you do it. We got you and stuff like that. Whereas on the West, like people on the other coast would be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you. Like that's so sad, but won't help for real." That's what I was told. I don't know how true it truly is, but I do know. I could see that.
I think that's true. But yeah, it's funny because like we live, because New York is expensive. We live with my wife's best friend. And so she, like me and her, like again, so we just hit 10 years. So when we got married, we were at like close to 9, like 8.5, right? Basically. Me and her best friend never talked. I never even had her phone number until right up until the wedding, right? So like it was very much like she would come to the house, I would say hi, and then I would go to my office. Like, and it's not like a dislike thing. It's just I'm very much like your friends are your friends, my friends are my friends. We do have those couple friends together, but like nobody wants me. And like it's just like nobody wants me in women's business. Like she doesn't want to come and see her best friend, and I'm on the couch. Like I'll just give you all y'all space.
Right.
But like now we live together, so she can't help but see me. And so it's hilarious when she's starting to like pick up on like my like idiosyncrasies or whatever. And we were talking about like relationships and her other friends. And so she said something, it was like today or yesterday, she said something about like, yeah, and I know that if I ask you to do something, you'll do it, you'll just complain about it, but it'll get done. And I said, yep. Yeah, because I don't want to do it. Like, no,
I
like,
really don't.
but
I
yeah,
don't want to do it.
but
But I will. Like,
yeah,
but I
like
will. Like,
you asked me,
God, I
like,
really don't. It's that question. Do you want to do this?
no. Can you just
But
tell me
I.
what you?
But that
Because
it's
I'm
like
gonna answer correctly. Can you? Do you want? No, I don't. But
do I
like,
want to? No, I don't
do
want
you
to.
need me
Will
to?
you do this for me? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
And I understand,
But
like, you know,
but don't ask me that question because I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to go to the store.
I really don't.
Can we go to the store? Sure. Yes.
Sure,
fine.
we sure can.
We'll go to the store. Like,
yeah, I guess so.
You know, I will put it. I'll pull out the drill and build something for you or whatever. Like, but I would rather not. That's not how I want to. I just worked 9 hours and sat on the train. No, that's not really what I want to do. I want to sit down with a beer and play the game or watch the game. Or,
like, do I want to do that? No, but do you need me to? I can do that for you.
I got you. Yeah.
So it's like, well, I guess it is semantics, but it's like wanting me to want to do stuff like that. Like, it's not gonna happen, but I will do it for you.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind. I'm just not nice. I'm not going like. It's like sometimes I just be like, and I do this with my friends too. Like sometimes I just be like, "What do you want me to do? Do you want me to just like jump up? Like, yes, of course, amazing. Like, it gets done."
Yeah, I feel like you should be happy. I'm honest with you if we being.
Yeah. And like I'm not over the top because like being over the top can be bad too. Like, but like sometimes it's just like, no, bro, I don't want to do that. Like.
Not at all.
But you can bribe me. I'm pretty easy. Beer and or wings, depending on how hard the project is, and I'll do it. She asked me to build a bed for her, and I was like, "You have a boyfriend?" She's like, "Yeah, but he's not coming over." I said, "You have a boyfriend?" She's like, "Yeah, but can you just do it?" I was like,
"I guess
if you buy me some beer, I do it." And she bought me some beer, and I built it. But also, I'm like, "Dog, you have a boyfriend. Why am I doing this?" I understand my responsibilities as the quote unquote, because again, not super traditional, as the quote unquote man in the house living with 2 women. But like, there are certain things that like you have a man. And you have I can't do this for both of y'all. like call him.
I really can.
What is he here for? If he don't have the tools, he can use mine. But like, yeah, I need you to. So
yeah, that is funny because there's been a few times. Like, can you do this? Don't you gotta?
Bruh,
you got a band.
I Dante. If you had a Jack, and I'm almost sure you did. I know this has happened to you, and I know you have women friends. When your friend calls you to change their tire, and they got a boyfriend, and then it's like, why can't he do it? He doesn't know how. So why are you? I will do it. This is important. I care about you.
You know what's so annoying about that?
Man.
It might be one of the most easy things you can do on a car is change a tire. It has to be the easiest thing you can do on a car.
And honestly,
it is not hard.
And I'm trying to borderline here because I'm not trying to be sexist. That's not the case. The reason a lot of women can't do it is because it's hard. Like my wife knows how to change a tire. But
it's
a lot of times
it's straining.
Can't do it.
It's straining
for I gotta put on there and jump on it. So it's not even about know-how, right? It's not like, oh, they can't do it or anything like that. It's just like sometimes they just physically can't do it, or sometimes it's whatever. But like, why can't he do it? What do you mean he doesn't know how? And Google exists. He got a phone.
YouTube.
You know how many things I fix on my car because of YouTube?
My Lord.
The
only reason why I don't feel like changing my oil is because it's gross. Yeah. Like I can do it. It's just I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to.
I don't do it. Well, I don't really use my car right now, but like I don't do it in newer cars just because once they started doing the touchscreen and stuff, I just don't want to deal with that. But like I was like 19 and I Googled and YouTubed how to change my stereo. and I put a stereo in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked perfectly. Literally, the only thing I didn't do is certain cars, they have a back plate. And so certain stereos are a little too long. And so sometimes you have to cut like a little rectangle and like the little like back plate, like back in like the dashboard. And
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do that. But it only stuck out so much that like you really had to be paying attention, that like when I put my dashboard back, there was like it was just a little blemish, like it just popped up a little, like it wasn't entirely flush, but it was
Yeah.
still back. And it was a 1998 Buick Park Avenue. Like what are you gonna say to me?
Who cares?
But like I was like 19. I literally went. I went to the store. I picked one that I like. I got some electric tape. I read it. This wire go here. This wire go here. You pull this out. You got to take this apart. You need these clips, whatever. And you can't change a tire.
Yeah, I it's literally just take.
I never
Me
had.
and my father. My dad has a pickup truck that he's souped up. Every time I went to go visit and he was working on it, I helped him. So like I know how to change a grill, headlights, all that is easy too. The actual the electricity, putting those together is not that hard. And you're telling me he don't know how to change a tire. I'm sorry. How?
What are we talking about?
I'm upset if you tell me he don't know how to change his own brakes and rotors. Why not? That's not hard.
It's two things.
I digress.
Literally the only thing about the rotors is there's one on most cars, there's one screw that most people don't have because you only use it to change your rotors. But if you're changing your rotors, you could just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Just about everything else you need. Now, I believe you should get a better quality version, but just about everything else you need, you can get for $15 at Walmart. And it literally says auto mechanic tool set.
Mm-hmm.
$15. It's not good quality, but it'll work.
Bruh, they don't know how. Like what?
Crazy.
What do you mean?
So yeah, I'm kind. I'm not nice. I'm gonna talk shit about your boyfriend while I'm changing your tire, and don't ask me to stop because you gotta deal with it. Tell him
I'm out here because I'm out here changing the tire.
Call him. What he gonna do?
Call him and tell him to tell me to stop.
Yeah,
bruh.
Crazy.
One time,
I
had to cut someone's grass. I was like, she has a son. She got two of them. Yeah, but they can't do it. All right.
It would be.
But don't tell me to stop when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Don't stop. I'm talking.
Nope.
And it's gonna be perfect.
You don't know how to cut grass. Can't cut grass. What are we talking about? Cut grass. Then
you stop in the backyard and you admire your work. Like,
yep. Like, look at them lines.
Look at them lines, motherfucker.
Oh my god, it would be disingenuous for us to have a podcast to talk about I-80 football show and not know how to do nothing on our car. Come on, man, that's crazy. The hardest thing about working on a car is having the space for it. Like that's it. Like if you don't have a garage or something, or you don't and sometimes if you live in an apartment complex, if it's big enough, just take up 2 spots while you're working on it and then park like a normal person. They'll be okay. Do it during the day. Do it on a weekend when nobody's there. Like it's not bad.
They all understand. They'll see you. They'll be like, "Oh,
yeah, got you."
So. All right, my bad. I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll move it when I'm done."
I don't know the age range of people listening to this show, but first of all, if you're any age and you are not intellectually or physically disabled, because that is a different conversation, and you don't know how to do the things we talked about, you should learn.
Please. Everyone, if you have a car than us, if you have a car, you should learn.
YouTube,
you should be able to tell. You should be able to take care of yourself.
But if not, find an uncle, find whatever. Like humble yourself. Your girl, they, them, others, that find someone to teach you. It's really not that hard. I'm telling you, save so much money.
Time.
It costs you at worst, and this is if you buy the nicest thing, which you don't need. You really just need stock, manufacturer stock. To do your brakes and rotors on one car, on one set, like 200 max. If you do all 4 wheels, like 400. And this is
it's gonna
brakes
cost.
and
Yeah,
rotors.
but brakes and rotors, but
But it
those cost money.
costs $700 to do
Mm-hmm.
2 at the car dealership.
Yep.
Like, just to get your backs, especially your backs, because the backs
Especially the backs,
are
because that's
different.
what you really want to get done too.
To go to Firestone, to go
Mm-hmm.
to Goodyear, any of these places, Michelin, any of these places, and get your rear brakes done, it's going to cost you $800.
Yep. There go our pit
You can
stop.
do your
We just did our pit.
entire car. You can do your entire car for $400, and you can
Mm-hmm.
do it cheaper if you don't get like the expensive
Because
stuff, or if you like. There's like Rock Auto. There's a couple places that do a little cheaper. I'm lazy. I like to go to AutoZone. AutoZone's not the most expensive. So the
yeah,
400, 450 is if you're doing AutoZone. But there are
yeah.
other places, Napa, which Napa's not everywhere. You go to Napa. You could do Rock Auto
I
online.
might
There
have
are other
even
places
paid.
that
I
you can
might
do
even
it
pay
and
less
do
of that
less. That's what I'm
from
saying. It's
AutoZone
four like it
for
also
all
depends on
four.
your. It
Yeah,
depends on
for
your
it
car. I
depends
had
on
an
the car as
SUV.
well.
I had an
Yeah.
SUV, so like mine were a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
more
When
expensive.
I had my Hyundai Elantra for
Oh
all
yeah,
four,
300, like
maybe
something like yeah,
close, yeah, maybe even less. And I did all four. It takes you an afternoon, but
yeah.
you
But like,
know
what else are you doing?
what else
It's
are you
better.
doing?
It's better than the $900 it's going to cost you, and they're not going to do both of them.
Yeah, because there's some places that will literally not take the like if you buy your brakes and rotors, they
They
might not
won't.
take
Mm-mm.
to do the job. They'll have to order them themselves, and now the price is going up even more. Whereas some places will take your stuff, but if you buy the stuff and do it yourself, afternoon
Yeah,
$300-$400 for real, for real.
not bad at all. Well, that was a good 21 minutes.
Yeah,
We are going. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are actually going to talk about what we're here to talk about. Which this may surprise some of you, but it is football. That is
it
what
is
we do
football. Yeah,
on
yeah.
this show. So we will be right back after the ads. What's good, everybody? Welcome back into the I-80 Auto Parts Show, where we teach you how to take care of your car.
Yeah.
We could actually do that a little bit. I don't know how to do everything, so there's but
Yeah, but
we can have
again, we
we can
just
have a
told you where to
segment.
go.
Yeah,
Like,
we can have a segment. YouTube,
if we
TikTok,
don't,
it's all there. Okay, so let's actually get into the show, starting with
they
our
talked
traffic
about
update.
people talk about adding new segments anyway.
Yeah, no, for real. Oh, we should add that. We should do that this week.
Mm-hmm,
The first
What
the
will
one
we start with though?
the question that she asked, the downs.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay, bad.
Yeah.
Do that then.
So
Okay.
starting with the traffic update, we very quickly, there's only one thing, and this may be old, so I'm sure all of you know about it right now. Michigan flipped 5-star quarterback, number 1 quarterback in the class, Bryce Underwood. He is a Michigan native who did not want to go to Michigan, and I contend does not want to go to Michigan, but that does not matter when you are paying him crazy money. Basically, because their quarterback sucked this year, they had 2 big donors who essentially are paying for the quarterback, which hey, it works.
Hey,
I have my opinions on it, which I will save for this show, especially because we spent 20 minutes on a car. What I will say is you should definitely celebrate this if you're a Michigan fan. You
right.
should not think that this fixes all your problems. Ask Lincoln Riley.
I was gonna say, you got to keep going. You got to
Yeah,
keep
like
going for
ask
more. But I
Nebraska,
was,
who has a
I was,
5-star quarterback. Like
yeah.
it's good, it's great, and
I
I'm not
think
happy for you. I was gonna lie, I'm not happy for you. I want you to be in the dirt, but there's a lot of people who are happy for you. But
I
I've
would
read
say
some
this.
articles that are basically like people saying that this is gonna fix all their problems, and I'm like, oh.
No, I think Michigan is a much smarter school than the two that you mentioned, and they know that they need more than just a quarterback to win, especially since they had everything but really a quarterback and was able to win, so they know they need more. I think it would be I think it's a different circumstance, I guess, since it's Michigan. Now we'll have to wait and see, of course, what they do with transfer portal and the rest of their uh incoming freshmen. But I fix all their problems, no. But it's a great start at the
It
very
is.
least.
It
Yeah.
is. The one thing that I will actually say is cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
The number 1 recruit is this quarterback from Michigan. He's going to Michigan. The number 2 recruit is a quarterback from Ohio that's going to Ohio State.
Okay.
That's how that should be. And I'm not going to get into it, but I think there's a lot of things that have like changed with so recruiting is so much based on like patterns of where people live. Like there's a bunch of quarterbacks in Arizona because Phoenix blew up and a bunch of people with money moved out to Phoenix, and there's more population in the South. Like there are these trends in recruiting that just happens with like population. And Ohio was bad for a little bit because people were leaving Ohio. Now Ohio recruiting and Michigan recruiting is up because there are certain industries that are coming back, the CHIPS Act and things like that. So more families are moving to Ohio. I mean, literally, Glenville, one of the most storied programs in Northeast Ohio, hadn't sent a singular player to Ohio State in like 5 or 6 years, and they're sending 3 or 4 in 3 back-to-back years. Maslin is good at football again, and so these people are moving back into these northern cities for various different reasons. And so I think recruiting is also going to even out a little bit. And I mean, the number 1, number 2 player in the country are in Michigan and Ohio. Like I can't tell you the last time that happened. And as much as I would love if he didn't go to Michigan, because I don't want any success for them, outside seeing these 2 great players being in the Midwest and staying in the Midwest, as a football fan, that's interesting. Now, do I still hope Bryce Underwood sucks? Absolutely. But then I hope he transfers from Michigan and turns into a first-round pick, because I have no ill will against him. I just hope he's garbage. Michigan tells him to leave. He goes anywhere else, turns into a first-round pick, and makes millions. I want all the success in the world for him, as long as it doesn't happen in the state of Michigan. That's all. That's it. I wish you the best, brother. As soon as you get to the NFL. as soon as you get to the NFL, I wish you the best.
He goes to a team in your division.
I don't care. We have CJ Stroud. and then he's my favorite quarterback, and he's in my division. I have to watch him beat us every year for the rest of my life. So it's it's fine. It didn't work out because me. Yeah, they'd be so dumb not to.
They would be.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a black dude in Houston. He was there for a week and they gave him a grill. It's Houston. he's not in Green Bay. It's gonna take something for him to get up out of Houston. I think he likes it down there. I think he likes Houston.
Yeah, I think he does too. He looks like he's having fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the review. And I want to be quicker with this than typical, just because we haven't, just by the nature of the show being on Thursday, we haven't done as many previews. It's just we've just kind of fallen into a weird spot, and there's a lot of things that go on in the show with the 18-team conference. But with this being rivalry, I want to spend a little bit more time on the upcoming games and the rivalry games than anything else. So very quickly to go through the review, Michigan State beats Purdue 24-17. Purdue is just one of the worst teams in the conference. It's a bad year for them, and they're probably going to fire their coach. Michigan State, this is...
What week is this again?
13. Last week is 13. We're going on 14. Yeah.
Okay. Lee.
Yes. Michigan State, if you can win this next game, you get to a bowl game. That is better than you have been the last couple of years. Your coach is a pretty good coach, and so the expectation is that this is the worst that it gets. So if you can get to a bowl game and the worst that it gets, that's a positive. Your quarterback does need to show some growth, and he's been very up and down. So next year could be a hard year if after the offseason he's still doing the same things. Then you're looking at we need to find a quarterback and stuff, but that's not our concern right now. They beat Purdue. Good for them. Illinois, I don't know where the S came from. Illinois beat Rutgers. I did not get to watch this game because it was on Peacock. Did you see?
Yeah, no, I forgot about Peacock.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I always forget about, so I didn't get to see any of that.
Yeah.
Apparently it was a good game, though.
That's what I heard. I want to see if I can pull this up to just this is going to be the one that we spend more.
And usually the Peacock game is not that early.
Yeah, I don't know what this whole week was weird. I texted this to you. I don't know if you saw it, but I kept saying last week, like, I don't know why the CBS game is on at late and there must be something else going on. It's because they had the NWSL soccer
Yeah, yeah,
championship
yeah,
at
yeah,
8.
yeah.
So I was right that there was a reason that that game was so late. Um, so let me see. I just want to read this because this was insane. This is the scoring summary. So, in the heading into the fourth quarter, Rutgers is up 17 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
All of this happens in the fourth quarter. Rutgers scores a touchdown, 24-15. Illinois scores a touchdown, 22-24. They score another touchdown and they get a 2-point conversion, 30-24. Rutgers scores a touchdown, 31-30. There's a minute and 8 seconds left. It's a 1-point game. Illinois goes for like a 57-yard field goal, right? Rutgers calls timeout, but they don't call it early enough. Dude kicks the ball, misses it entirely. It's so bad. But because the team saw that he wasn't going to make the kick, Illinois decided to just go for it. It was 4th and long, just go for it. Rutgers entirely breaks down and allows a 40-yard touchdown pass with 4 seconds left on the clock. And if they just wouldn't call a timeout, because it's already 58 yards or 57 yards or whatever, you didn't need to do that. Oh, yeah, it was on the 40-yard line. Duh, it's plus 17. It was 57 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe 58, because for some reason, college kickers kick from 18 instead of 17. Like, I've started to notice that. I don't know what's going on. 57 and 58. You don't even need to call a timeout. He's going to miss that.
Yeah, he's not.
You call it late where he gets to finish the process. They see that he's not going to do it. They throw a pass. Their tight end, Pat Bryant, catches it, weaves through traffic, 40-yard touchdown. And then they miss the 2-point conversion, but with barely any time left, Rutgers gets tackled for a safety. And so Illinois ends up winning 38-31. 38-31, and that was all in the fourth quarter. There was 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter alone. 5 touchdowns and a safety in the fourth quarter.
Everybody just gave up.
Yeah, no, like crazy
in the fourth quarter.
I'm so sorry I didn't get a chance to watch that game.
Yeah,
it ended really good. At least the fourth quarter.
It didn't even cross my mind that game's on Peacock, because that's usually like 4:30 or 7.
Yeah, I don't know.
That the Peacock game is at that.
A lot of times it is. It's just like randomly like midday.
Yeah, it's like the midday game or the later game.
Yeah. So I don't know. Ohio State, Indiana. Ohio State dominates Indiana. I am not going to hear anything about Indiana not making the playoffs. I've already talked.
They better still make the playoffs.
They should make the playoffs. I think it's just one of those things where like Ohio, like you went into the year expecting Ohio State to win the national championship. You did not go in the year expecting Indiana to win the national championship.
Nope.
At this point in the season, there are 2 really good teams, in my opinion, and a bunch of very good to sort of good teams. Ohio State and Oregon, I think, are the 2 best teams in the country. And then there's a gap, and then there's everyone else. Indiana is in that everyone else. Just because Indiana got blown out by Ohio State doesn't mean that they get blown out by Ole Miss. Doesn't mean that they get blown out by SMU. Doesn't mean that they get blown out by Boise or BYU or these other teams at that level who are still going to get into the playoffs.
Right.
They lost to a team that, if they do what they're supposed to do, should be in the national championship game, or at least in the semifinals, because it depends on where they end in the bracket. If
they lost to a championship contender, I don't understand.
And the game was close for a while. A couple special team mistakes, and it got out of control. Their defense, and you have to give them props for things. Ohio State had throughout 10 games, they had 4 trips to the end zone, into the red zone, where they didn't score a touchdown. 3 of them were a field goal, and then 1 of them they just didn't score. Ohio State went 4 for 6 against Indiana. Their first 2 red zone trips, they went 0 for 2.
Yep.
They doubled the times Ohio State didn't score touchdowns in 10 games. Like, they fought. And Ohio State overpowered them. It happens. Ohio State.
Didn't Illinois, Indiana had
They were
Goal
leading at
line.
first. Yeah,
They did a
yeah.
goal
They had
line
a goal line
stand.
stand. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They had a goal line stand, and then the next time down, they got an interception.
yeah. So
Which the
yeah,
interception shouldn't have happened. It bounced off a young tight end's hand, but it doesn't matter. Goal line stand and the interception. They went on a crazy drive, scored a touchdown. Like Ohio State is finally looking like the team that people thought they were going to do with the 20 million roster and everything like that. Just accept that as it is. You don't have to do these referendums on Indiana. I still think Indiana could win a playoff game. And even if they don't, none of us expects Penn State to win a playoff game. We've all accepted that they're probably going to get upset in the first round at home. Like, whatever.
depending
But
on who they play.
yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
think so.
it's the running joke at least.
Yeah.
Iowa 29, Maryland 13. I have no thoughts on that game.
I didn't even watch it. Like it was up, but yeah.
Michigan 50, Northwestern.
Iowa's just putting up 30 points every week. That's a little weird.
That is definitely a little weird, but it's happening, I guess.
Yeah.
Michigan 50, Northwestern 6. I also don't have any thoughts on this game. I do just briefly want to pull up the scoreboard because I saw something where like Michigan like didn't complete like any passes. Like it was just like, I don't know if it was defensive scores. Like, but like basically you hear 50 points, you think like offensive day, and supposedly like Michigan didn't pass the ball at all. Like largely because it sounds like they didn't need to.
I was about to say, like they just might not have had to.
Oh, this is keep going to the wrong week. Can we get to the right week, please? Okay, where are we at? 50 point, and whatever. Northwestern was not expected to be good. They're not good, so I don't know.
Still don't know what's going on there in that school and Michigan State. Like, what's going on?
Who knows?
Some people should be getting in trouble there. They should be losing something. Scholarships,
right?
Something. Like,
I hate ESPN, bro. It is so long. Like this looking for this just took so long, and it's entirely just because ESPN, they're whatchamacallit. Yeah, and it's making me look like I don't know how to podcast. Yeah, ESPN. Oh, okay. Michigan threw the ball 35 times.
Oh.
For 195 yards. I don't know what I saw. I mean, they did run the ball better. They had 200.
Maybe they didn't throw the ball at all in the second half. Maybe that's what you saw, or maybe in like or like in the fourth quarter or something like that, probably.
Maybe, and I just saw it wrong. But yeah, they had 5 touchdowns. Where did the rest of the points come from? Did they have any? They had 5 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. And did they have any defensive touchdowns?
How many rushing yards did they have?
200. So they had 195 passing yards, 200 rushing yards.
That sounds like a
scored. They basically scored every time they got the ball, 2 field goals.
It sounds like they drove down the field and just scored with the running backs. That's what it sounds like. Basically. They just got they would get like 2 or 3 yards from the end zone and just run the ball in.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, whatever. Penn State, Minnesota. I think we I think we talked about like I'm not going to say that they're going to be upset, but this is going to be an interesting game. Yeah, and it was. Minnesota gave everything that they could to win that game. They did not win that game. That's fine. They played good. The only problem that I have with this game is I'm so tired of these coaches doing the same thing where it's 6 minutes left, you're in scoring range, and you're down 4, you decide to kick a field goal to go down 1 and hope that you get the ball back against the better team instead of going for the touchdown. And the thing is, like,
but I guess if your defense has been stopping them enough, I can see why you go that route.
Yeah, but the thing is, and we say this all the time, with the better teams, you don't give them more chances to beat you. Yeah. And I never like that argument because for me, it's 2 things. One, if your defense is that good, if you don't get the 4th down, they should still get that same stop. And yes, it changes the math. Now you need to get a touchdown. But if you think they can get a stop, you should trust them to get the stop no matter what. But if you get it, you now win and you're up and you can still trust your defense to get the stop. But the other thing is you don't want to give the other team the more chances to beat you. They give Penn State the ball back with 6 minutes left and they never saw the ball again.
Yeah.
And they lost by 1 point. I just think in those situations, especially when you're punching up, you need to be aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, they've already reached bowl eligibility. They have nothing to lose. They would get to upset Penn State. It was a good game, though. Nebraska 44, Wisconsin 25. Never wrong, just early. I
Yeah.
said I felt like Nebraska was going to have a game where they just came out and blitzed someone because they did not want to deal with the pressure of not making it to a bowl game. I thought it was going to be USC. It was not USC. It was Wisconsin. 44-25. They did whatever they wanted to that game, and now
Yeah.
Wisconsin is bowl eligible for the first time since 2016.
Nice.
Love to see it. USC UCLA, the late night game. That was not a good game. I did
No.
watch the full thing, but
Yeah.
it was a game, and I won't give USC much credit, but I will give them credit that they did not fold like I thought that they would when they started
Yeah.
losing those games. They fought and they won this game and they made it to bowl eligibility. Still not a good team, still not a good season,
No.
but a lot of Lincoln Riley teams in the past have quit, and they did not quit. And when you
Yeah.
have their expectations and the season turns out like this, you do need to give them credit for quitting. Because, like, just to be completely honest with you, Michigan quit. Michigan star players are injured, and like I'm never gonna do the full faking injuries thing. I will just say, if the game was of consequence, these players would play. They're week to
Yeah.
week, every week. If the game, and I know this is true because the coach said that their starting corner may play the Ohio State game. He hasn't played in like 4 weeks.
Yeah. Why I play now? You're just gonna be you're really gonna be a liability at this point.
So I'm not judging. You got your money, but like Michigan quit. They quit on the season. They did.
Yeah. Yeah.
USC
They
had
going to
one
the
player quit, but as a team, they doesn't seem like they quit. They fought, and I will at least give them credit for that. They changed the quarterback. He is not great, but he is providing a spark, and he has like a nice like swag and kind of like confidence about him to kind of make up for the fact that he's not a super clean quarterback, and they're making it work. And I'm predicting. I've already said it on here. I'm predicting them to upset Notre Dame. So.
We'll see.
I thought they were going to lose the UCLA, but they didn't. I still think they're going to beat Notre Dame. So, okay, that was the recap. It was pretty quick, and we in our picks segment, as we are getting to the end, I do have a chance to. I'm going to lose the regular season, but we always do add in certain like playoff games. So I may have a chance to make up some ground with the 12-team playoff, but this week was chalk. We both went 6-2. We had the same exact picks for every single game, so I was never going to make anything up this week. We were right about every game except we picked Rutgers to beat Illinois, and we picked Wisconsin to beat Nebraska. Both went 6-2. Dante is 83-32. I am 80-35.
We're doing pretty good.
Because I have not done the math in a while, since we're coming into the last round of the season, Dante, let's see what our percentage is.
That's what I was about to do too.
It's 115 total games. Are you doing the math?
I'm doing it for me.
Okay, never mind. I was going to ask you to guess what you think the percentage is.
Oh, guess?
Yeah.
70-something% winning percentage?
You are correct. You are at 72. 71. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, it's 72. 72. I did
72. That's what I thought.
It's 72, and I am at, I think, like directly 69, like 69.5. So like right under 70. So yeah,
that's what I thought. I was like, it's 70 something. I'll say for the 115 of like 80 some games. Yeah, that had to be 72.
Basically at 70%. So we're doing good. My percentages are down a little bit from where I typically sit at, but we typically sit at 70%. This is 3 or 4 years in. 70%. I would say that we're pretty good at this. We are recording earlier than normal, so because of the holidays and things like that, we're not going to talk playoff rankings. There's also 1 week left, so we're going to get the official one soon. The only thing that I'll say is laughing my ass off at all the SEC teams talking trash about Indiana and their schedule, and then 3 of them getting upset by unranked teams. It's like, oh, Bama's better than them. What would Indiana do if they had Bama's schedule? Bama lost. Texas A&M is better. What would they do if they had Texas A&M schedules? A&M lost. Ole Miss is better. What would they do? Like, oh, like you just get the SEC is so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. Lost to Florida, to a team that was wanting to do anything but anything they
That
could to find
Florida
recruit.
loss was crazy.
And the Florida loss was really crazy because dude had 3 chances to tie the game and threw 3 interceptions. And one of the interceptions didn't count. He got the ball back and immediately threw an interception to end the game. It's just like, yeah, bro. And it's crazy. He literally threw interceptions to every part of the field. The first one was deep down the middle in the triple coverage. Don't know why he threw it. The second one, he threw to the left-hand side, face from his direction, the right side of the defense, threw an interception. Got that one back. I don't remember why it was a penalty or he said he touched the ground or something like that. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, probably
came back out and then threw an interception on the offensive right, defensive left sideline. Just like he just peppered all parts of the field with interceptions in the final like 3 minutes to lose the game. And it's like Florida got the ball after the first interception with like 2 minutes or less left and gave the ball back because they couldn't get a first down. And you still lost. Like, so embarrassing. We do not, I don't care what anyone says. I think we're fine. I don't think we're going to have to worry about Indiana not getting into the playoffs.
Oh, Indiana is definitely in.
It's just about seeding. And we're not going to talk seeding because we're not going to know it. But by the time you listen to this on Thursday, you will know it. I think I would predict that Indiana. I'm trying to remember who on won and lost. I think Indiana's going to come in at 10, which is also, I think, what they came in at the AP poll, which that I could check because I have the link to the AP poll in here. Oh, no, I got rid of it for the college playoff link. Let me see. I have the AP in here somewhere. This is a running document. Indiana came in at, they came in at 10. They dropped 5 spots. I expect that they'll come in at 10 again. Miami
5 spots is kind of crazy for losing to the number 2 team.
Agreed, especially with the way some of these other teams looked. But I think that, I think they come in at 10. And as long as they beat Purdue, which again, Purdue's like the worst team in the country and the Power 4, they should be 11-1 and they should get in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk rivalry week. I will not spaz out on this point, but I just want to see if you realize this because I didn't realize this. Rivalry week is obviously the last week of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why BYU and Utah, the Holy War, isn't happening this week. And it just didn't cross my mind when I watched that game like last week or the week before. But they're in the same conference now. And that conference decided not to play one of their best conference games on the last week of the season.
Is it usually the last week of the season?
Rivalry week, that they haven't played each other in 14 years or something like that. Like they haven't played each other in a while because they weren't in the same conference. And they didn't they just haven't been playing.
Well, that means because I'm confused because we all know that schedules are made like 5 years in advance.
But these schedules can be made 5 years in advance because they haven't been in the same conference 5 years in advance. This schedule was made basically last year for this conference.
Maybe they forgot.
Both of them are in there. It's trash. But they're playing conference opponents. The conference, in my opinion, the conference failed. That's weak. But in the Big Ten,
they might. I think 14 years. I think they just might have forgot.
Everyone knew. They didn't forget the rivalry. What are you talking about? This is one of the
biggest rivalries. Because it's Texas and Texas A&M playing each other.
Yes. On the last week of the season.
They made that game again?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Or is it Texas A&M? Is that the
they haven't played in years.
Okay. Is that's the one? That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
Their first year back in the same conference, they immediately playing each other, and they're playing each other last game of the season.
Okay, I had to make sure if that was the rivalry I was thinking of that hasn't played in a while. Okay, then never mind. I don't. Maybe people just don't care enough.
Crazy. I'll always care.
No, I mean fair.
So I don't know. I don't like it, but I will tell you the Big Ten will always respect rivalry week. And that's why I love this conference. Going into rivalry week, starting on Friday, because if those of you who remember, we've talked about this a lot, but things happen and things change. The Big Ten is doing a double, it's not really a double header because the games are 7 hours apart, but they're doing 2 games on Friday, on Black Friday, when they used to only do one. And so this year, I think the Nebraska Iowa one is always on Black Friday. And then this year they added
If I'm
Minnesota,
not
Wisconsin.
mistaken, you're right about that. I think it
Yeah.
was on Friday last year as
Yep.
well.
So now they're adding Minnesota, Wisconsin. So there'll be 2 Big Ten games on Friday. The Nebraska Iowa one
See,
is
I be
just a
forgetting I
regular.
can watch games on Paramount, and I got that too. Oh my
Yeah, I forgot that you had that.
god.
The Nebraska Iowa one is just for regular rivalry game for regular rivalry game stakes because both of them got to 6 wins. And so they're both bowl eligible. Not that the stakes don't matter. Of course, it's still a rivalry game. But the Minnesota Wisconsin one, Wisconsin needs to beat Minnesota to get to bowl eligibility. And they just got like dogged by Nebraska. We just talked about that. So that game is going to have a lot of intrigue for me because of the stakes, right? Like Minnesota almost beat Penn State. They have a chance to win 7 games. 7-5 is good for them this year. We both predicted them to have a down year. 7-5 is good for them this year, and they get to that by beating their rival. Wisconsin is on the downward trajectory. They fired the offensive coordinator. They just got blown out by a Nebraska team that had lost 4 games straight and was reeling, and now they have to play their rival at noon on Friday, day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be tuned in. I'm
gonna have me a turkey sandwich.
I'm gonna have me a ham sandwich. I don't really eat turkey.
It might be both.
Hey, look, not
no,
see,
my
now
father. No,
now
my
you
father.
cooking.
He might smoke something too. We might have something else. Honestly,
That'd be smooth. I do not eat turkey that much. But when I do eat turkey, and my father-in-law makes a good turkey, which he's not doing that here because we're not in Columbus. White bread, turkey sandwich with some hot sauce, bangs.
So you missing one thing. You take
what?
a little bit of mac and cheese and you put it on top of that.
Okay, I hear you. I'm sure that's good. I've never been a put things on a sandwich person. I just put the mac and cheese on the side. It's still there. It's a part of the meal.
Yeah.
But like I've never just been like a put it on the sandwich. I don't know. I can't even. It's a texture thing, or there's a mental block of doing that.
Fair.
But it's on the plate. It's always on the plate. Don't worry about that.
Okay. I'm gonna be ready for that game. That's gonna be a fun one. At Wisconsin too. That should be a good one. They're gonna be tired. 12 o'clock. That's a groggy game. It's gonna be a slow start. Yeah. It's gonna be a slow start to that game.
Love to see it. On Saturday, as we continue through rivalry weekend, which not everyone's a rivalry, but because Fresno is playing UCLA, but that's sort of a rivalry. They're both Southern California teams, so it still counts. We have the game, which we'll do last, of course, and we'll actually give a prediction for that because at Land Grant Podcast Network, we are doing predictions, and so they're going to put those together. We're going to have to do real predictions. So skipping that one, we'll get back to that one. Illinois Northwestern. Again, just a typical rivalry game, but the stakes for Illinois are big. Illinois has a chance for the first time to reach 9 wins since I think it was 2007. And then if they do this and they go and win a bowl game, there's a double-digit win season on the table for Illinois.
Yep,
that's huge. That is huge.
And I think they might pull that off.
I do too. Especially after last year, right? They had the 2, right? They had the good year 2 years ago. They did and then they lose their defensive coordinator and they have a bad year last year. They lost the running back, they lost the safety, and you start to have these conversations of is this a 1-year wonder? What's happening, And then to immediately come back and Brett Bielema will be like, nah, I'm good. I'm still a good coach. we're not Ohio State. We're not these teams that can reload every year, but we are
Right.
going to reload and to go and win 9, 10 games. That's huge.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. That should be good. I hope they get it because we were big on Illinois this year, really big last year, but we were big on them this year. In 10 years in a bowl win, that's a beautiful season to look forward for next year too.
It is. And so I'm very happy for them. You all know that on this podcast, we have been big fans of Illinois.
Mhm.
And I don't want to fully call it the underdog story, but like, it's just, and then like Brett Bielema is just proving that like he is this guy. Like this is him.
Yeah,
He can win in the Big Ten. He went down to Arkansas. They weren't happy with him for whatever reason, but like he can win in the Big Ten. And that's huge. We love that. The next
yeah.
game we have is Fresno State UCLA. I don't really care about
I
this one.
don't. I was about to say I don't have because it's not like I've ever watched a Fresno State game on purpose.
Yeah.
And I mean UCLA. What is this? They're bowl eligible with this win,
Nope.
right? No,
Nope.
just
They needed to beat USC.
USC. Just slipped out. That sucks. That sucks. That sucks. Well, UCLA had a better season than we expected by far.
Absolutely.
By
Absolutely.
far. They
It's
messed up.
it's
We probably would have better winning records if it wasn't for them. Like in our picks.
yeah, that in Indiana.
Mhm.
But I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
how could you predict Indiana? Indiana is really what messed us up, honestly.
I think it might be both.
Yeah. Okay, so but it's a game, and you know they lost to USC, but still, if they could go from 1-5 to 5-7, that's a plus. That's a good season. I think you can kind of prove, you know, that you have a good coach and you have a foundation. He has to
Mhm.
prove that he can do the other parts of the job, which is recruit and some of the other kind of stuff. But
Right,
the
right.
way the year started with how this is ending, that's massive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Notre Dame USC. I don't even think we can talk about this one much because somehow we talked about it a lot last week, just because
Yeah,
we
we
got
did.
stumbled on it because I think that they're going to win.
I don't think
This
so.
is, I know, and not, I feel like I'm low key on an island on this. This is what I'm going to say.
I
Notre
just
Dame,
legit think Notre Dame's the better team and better coach team.
I, I don't entirely disagree,
Mm.
but I just think that Notre Dame hasn't played anyone of value. And you can say Army, you can say these things. I'm not trying to downgrade their season, but Army plays a specific style of football that is confusing to a lot of people.
Mhm.
Notre Dame, but the thing with that is like even when you make the right read, if you run a 4-8 and they run a 4-3, they're going to catch up with you. So Notre Dame just really out athlete them. But then the other thing, because Marcus Freeman was at Cincinnati, he's played one of these triple option teams like every year for like the last 6 years. So if there's any coach in the country that knows how to defend it, it's him. So it's not that it's not impressive, but they're very well prepared for it because the coach has like this is something he does every year. He's not
That's
surprised by
that
that.
I
But no,
can't I can't use that
I'm not
against
saying that
them.
like it's I'm not using it against them.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is if you look at the Army game and say, look at what they did to Army, this is a super dominant team. I can't do 2+2=4 on that because of the situation of where they're at. I think that they are a good team. I think that they should beat
I don't think you need to be super dominant
USC.
to beat USC, especially
But
since USC again almost just lost to UCLA. That game,
I
look
hear
again.
that.
You said you would be I forgot what you said about USC, but losing to UCLA, they beat Notre Dame. But or if they win against UCLA, they're gonna beat Notre Dame. They barely won that game. They barely came out of the win with that game. I Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is just that much, like you said, better athletes. It's just better athletes on the field for Notre Dame than there is USC right now.
I agree.
Mm.
And that so my thing is it's and I understand that I'm buying into like the story and some of these things like that. But I think that Notre Dame hasn't played anyone that's good in a while. I also think that Notre Dame has they've it's just it's happened every single year with Marcus Freeman, right? He just loses these big games. And I think the prospect of staring 11-1 in the face, recovering from NIU, and going to the playoff as like the number 6 seed, I just think the lights are going to be too bright. And I know that goes against everything I've said about USC, but this is very much a Notre Dame take and not a pro USC take. This is not USC's just upset and they're gonna finish their season on a strong foot and they're gonna go in and they're gonna win. Like, I don't think that at all. If I'm just picking the teams, I'm picking Notre Dame. But Notre Dame also showed the ability to lose to NIU. Notre Dame has showed the ability to lose these types of games every year. And USC, the only compliment that I can give them right now is that they haven't given up yet. And so I just think the thought of being able to destroy Notre Dame's season and Notre Dame looking ahead to the playoffs and laughing at LSU and these things, it's just college football is weird, right? Like, why did Auburn beat Texas A&M? Why did Oklahoma, who hadn't beaten an FBS team since September, beat Alabama? Literally anything can happen, and I just think this is one of those games where I just think Marcus Freeman just takes his foot off the pedal, and I think they lose.
I see where you're coming from, but I just think I don't think the upset happens because if you could barely pull out a win against UCLA, where I guess, and again, UCLA had every chance, like had chances to win that game. I don't think Notre Dame loses this game, even if it's close. I think if it's a close game, Notre Dame pulls it out just because it's a better team. And like you said one person on USC's team quit, and you said probably one of the better players. I think that matters nothing, but I think Notre Dame pulls this off just off GP. Really, I don't think.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I wouldn't bet it. I don't bet in general. I wouldn't bet on. I just have a very strong feeling. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Maryland, Penn State. I think Penn State wins.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Do you put any stock into like Penn State has been begging to lose the last couple of weeks and like they may just lose?
Nope.
I don't. To be clear, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I'm just putting it out there. Do you think there's any chance that they
close
stumble?
I think winning close games is a lot. It's better experience than people like to give credit to. So, like, here's my example, right? One of the things that was brought up, I was watching earlier, is that they were talking about Kansas City Chiefs and how they haven't had a blowout win at all, but they're 10-1, right? But haven't had a blowout win, and everybody said, they were saying, I don't think it matters because most of the time in the playoffs, blowout wins aren't really a thing. So if you find ways to win close games, you find ways to win close games. And I think, especially going into the college playoffs, unless you're playing a bum, you're not going to see, like, what I'm saying is, I think going into the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of closer, especially with these teams now. Again, no one can put up a lot of points consistently. So I think close game wins is great experience. So like I said the last week or the week before, I have no fear. Oh, yeah, I have no fear about them playing in close games and looking like they want to lose. Like, if you know, like if you can win a game despite messing up, that's well coached to me.
Yeah.
Even if you make penalties and stuff that can mess you up, but you find a way to win that game, then you're still well coached, even with your flaws, because no one's perfect. So, yeah, I can see that. I didn't know they were going to give a women's intercontinental championship belt. Somebody's stealing my ideas.
Yeah, I agree. I don't always agree with your. I think you don't put enough stock into the winning bad sort of thing, but I also think some people put too much into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But ultimately, I do agree.
I think it flips. I think it's very, because my thing is just like, it's very hypocritical with certain teams. Yeah. Like, again, like there'll be people that'll be like, when Ohio State struggled to win a few weeks ago, it's like, well, they found a way to win despite, Will Howard
Mhm.
throwing a pick and stuff like that. And then you go to Penn State and it's like, oh no, they're winning these close games. And I was like, if it's a scare for this team, it should be a scare for this team.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up the Kansas City Chiefs thing, because it's like they said they're a championship team. They're winning close games, so it doesn't matter. But then the flip side would be, I guess, the Steelers, right? Where they're like, well, I don't think they're that good because they're not. It's not like they're putting up a lot of points.
But
neither is Kansas City, but they're still winning the games.
Yeah.
So which one is it? That's why I would say, like, that's why I don't put that much stock into them winning close games, because winning close games is still experience. Because I'd rather you win the close games than then lose it in a stupid way, and then you're going like it's just that one flip. That's all they need now. It's just to learn how to win these close games. Now they have, and we're using that almost against them.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I wasn't asking because I thought they were going to lose. I just wanted to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I was just giving my full opinion on it.
Yeah, but I just had to clear that up because I'm always the one that thinks they're going to, this was not me hating on Penn State this time. I do be hating on Penn State occasionally, but this was not one. I was just curious, content for the podcast, if you will.
Right.
So we'll speed through this because I'm now getting text about going to dinner. And I'm like,
okay.
I tried to do the podcast early, so this wasn't a problem, but now. Anyways,
that's cool. We can get to it. Yeah.
Rutgers at Michigan State.
That should be actually a decent game, really.
Yeah, let me see something. This is the one that I don't actually know what Michigan State's record is, because this could be another
Michigan State
bowl game.
I think is bowl game eligible.
Are they
either both? Already? I think both have a chance. Rutgers
is already bowl game eligible.
Oh, okay. So I think Michigan State with a win might be bowl eligible.
I think you're right. Let me see. So Rutgers is 6-5.
Okay.
Michigan State is 5-6. Yeah. So this is another game with another
crazy
team. Two teams trying to end on positive notes. Rutgers is not having the season that we and they thought they could have, but if they could get to 7 wins, this is still history for them. This would be because last year they went 6-6. We talked about this. This would be the first time in a couple of years that they end the season with a winning season. Because again, they went 6-6 and then they went to the bowl game. And then if they win and they go to a bowl game and win, they're gonna have 8 wins. Was like the first time since like the early 2000s. Right. So Rutgers is still at a chance. Michigan State, as we talked about, they need this to get to 6-6, and if you can get to even 5-7, I think would be fine. But if you could get to 6-6 in this season with this coach, that's positive, right?
I also say though, Michigan State having a bowl game eligibility is while it's for the athletes, I'll say this, for the athletes, it's wonderful and it's great that they get a chance to. As the NCAA though, it is another example of you doing terrible at your job. I will say that, because Michigan State and also Northwestern. Because what if Northwestern had a chance?
I know what you're going to say. Michigan State was entirely the coach. That team should not have got punished for him being a creep. Northwestern, that was the entire team culture school. They should have done something about that.
I'll give you that. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair. Mel Tucker.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, all right. So now I'll say if Northwestern has a good year in the next 2 years, then it is an indictment on NCAA, because I think they should be in trouble for at least 5 or 6. That's just me.
That was crazy what happened there, and nothing's come out of it.
Yeah, and nothing's come out of it. I mean, look, Ole Miss. What Ole Miss had like 10 years? What was Ole Miss like 10 years? Something like that. Like the residual after effect was like 20, 30. Like it lingered for so long, but their actual punishment was what, 5? I think 5 to 10 years. Michigan.
Are you talking Ole Miss or Baylor?
Well, Ole Miss. Well, I'm talking about Ole Miss got in trouble for like the paying kids stuff. How they lost all those scholarships back in the day.
Oh yeah, I don't even remember. Like there's so many scandals at this point.
You're right. But I'm just saying, like, it should be something like that. They should get like something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like whichever, like, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree, and I don't even
Okay.
know if they're even
Okay.
officially like looking into them. I really think they're just letting them handle it themselves.
Which is again an indictment on the you again. You have a chance. You messed up with NIL. You've messed up with other things. Here's your chance to get some good graces, and you mess up again.
That's also
Incredible.
yeah, that's also an indictment on the Big Ten, because the Big Ten did
Very
step
much
in with
so.
Jim Harbaugh, which I
Very much
agree that they
so.
should have. But this touched multiple sports.
Because again,
I
you almost crucified Penn State. Like you made Penn
yeah.
State get rid of their coach, even though he said he had nothing to do with it. And then with this Northwestern thing,
Yeah, and to be clear, Miners, that is worse.
yeah,
But it's in the same area. Like,
they're still kids.
just because they're 18 to 21 instead of
They're
like,
minors. They were
they're still
18.
kids.
They
And
were
it's still
minors. They're 18.
it's still like sexual
Sometimes
hazing and
might be
assault
17.
and all
Like,
of these things. Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah. That's not the
it is
point
not
where
that
I
far removed from the Penn
yeah,
State scandal. Like,
yeah.
and
And
honestly, I do not want to do the moral thing and whatever. Like,
mhm.
this is a very thin line. I shouldn't even say it, but like, you could argue it's worse because it was one person using a program to be a creep, where this is an entire football
It's in
program
the
through
program.
years
It's in the
hazing and sexually
program.
assaulting
It's
players
a
and
part of the
hazing
program.
like it's the
Mm-hmm.
school. Like, I don't know
Whereas
I don't remember
like
the
I
other.
get what you're saying. It's one monster, whereas it's in a
It's a
conglomerate of
program, yeah,
monsters.
that's
Yeah,
gone on for years.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
literally players saying like, "Oh yeah,
You're
20 years
bringing
ago we
in
did something
players who
like
did
that."
this and now are
Yeah,
continuing it.
and
It's
now
an
they're on the
ingrained.
yeah.
We're creating monsters.
Yeah.
Like,
And literally players like, yeah, 10,
yeah,
15 years ago, we did something like that. This is worse, but like, yeah, I know when that started. Like, it's like, yeah, it's sick.
yeah,
It's sick.
yeah.
And they just,
Okay, but
like,
you're right about. I'll give you that Michigan State thing.
yeah,
It was
that was
more.
just a
It's
coach
more
being a
him.
fucking
So right,
creep.
yeah, you're right. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's on me.
And then what game do we have last before we go back up? I think there's only one left, right? There's
Purdue,
two.
Indiana, and Washington, Oregon.
Indiana by a million.
Yeah. Especially since you know what, especially since people keep saying that they're not that good, they're gonna
Yeah, by a
obliterate
million.
Purdue now,
Absolutely.
and I don't blame them.
And
I'm sorry,
that
Purdue, but
that
woo.
coach is absolutely online, because he said some things in like press conferences and things, like referencing people's like things about him, and like the things that he's absolutely gonna kill them. Sorry, Purdue.
Sorry, Purdue. It's not your fault.
Do you give Washington any shot?
Yes.
Okay.
To win the game, yeah. No, I think this is going to be a good
Oregon,
game.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is a
going to
big
be
rivalry game.
Washington has given a lot of people trouble or won the game this season. So
especially if they can run the ball, which it's been hit or miss, but they have one of the better running backs. It just doesn't,
and it also hit or miss with Oregon stopping the runner out. You saw them do it against Ohio State and a few other teams, and then sometimes
also seen,
yeah.
So that's going to be a good game. I do still think Oregon pulls it out. I think Oregon's too well coached to do the like.
Yeah, I think this is going to
look ahead to Ohio State thing, because at this point they'll know if they're playing Ohio State. I don't think they're going to do the look ahead to Ohio State, but I do give Washington a chance.
And my thing is that especially since this is your conference mate, you've played Washington. You know not to look past them already. Yeah. So
absolutely. All right, so let's. This is going to go both on this podcast, of course, but it is also going to go on a joint podcast where we all at the Land Grant podcast, at Land Grant Holy Land, give our brief predictions for Ohio State, Michigan. So Dante, give me 30 to 60 seconds, Ohio State, Michigan, and you have to give me a score at the end, which we don't do often, but you got to give me a score at the end.
I hate doing scores. I think this will be a competitive game through 2.5 quarters. I'll give Michigan 2.5 quarters because it's Michigan, and so far Ryan Day has been scared against Michigan. It's not the same Michigan, I'll give you that, but so far the past 3 years, he's coached weird. He's made questionable decisions against Michigan. I think it's close for about 2.5, maybe even 3 quarters. Ohio State wins. I think I picked Michigan to win off the L's, off the lulls. No, I didn't. Okay, so I didn't. I was smart. I'm not stupid this year. Okay, so I picked Ohio State to win. I think Ohio State wins, pulls away in the fourth, 38-21.
Okay. All right, 38-21. Okay. So this goes against my better judgment. I should not be saying this at all. And I want to be clear, this is not a Ryan Day take. This is a Will Howard take. I'm buying in. I think that this Ohio State team finally gets it. I can't believe it took 3 losses, but the things that the players are saying, they haven't been saying for 3 years. And for 3
I don't
years,
think
it was a
those players
lot
are
of
there.
no, it is because it's the seniors. It's the seniors.
Okay,
but I was gonna, like, there was
I
a
know
lot
a good
of
amount of them have left. I will say that.
There was a lot of it's just a game for 3 years. And for the first time in 3 years, they're all like, no, this is life or death. This matters. Ryan Day literally said in an interview that this is the worst thing that's happened to him outside of losing his dad and a few other things. I think it took 3 years, but I think they're finally taking it serious. I think Will Howard, and I wrote this in my article, I think Will Howard is a quarterback who finally gets it and is going to do everything. He's not as talented, but he's going to do everything he can to win. It's against my nature because it's hard to believe, but I think Ohio State wins in a blowout. I have Ohio State 41-13. And I shouldn't say it, but I didn't feel this way up until this week. Hearing them talk about it and be different finally than what they've been the last 3 years. Hearing Ryan Day admit how hard this has been on him and his family, and of course the team and Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs and these, like, I don't think Michigan's going to get the 75-yard touchdown run that they randomly get against us because now we have Caleb Downs who doesn't miss a tackle.
So I don't think something like that happens, but I think they come out too ready, and maybe Will Howard throws an accidental pick 6, and then they settle down, and that's why I'm saying like 38-21. I do think Michigan does score a few times because it is like Michigan, even though they stink, they put up a good fight when they want to, and they've done it this year, and we all know they're going to give their best fight for this game. But I do still think Ohio State pulls away. We're different of 3 points and 1 touchdown. I think accidental, some turnover gives them points that gives, and then they go, okay, we're settled in, and then it's fine after that.
I could see that happening, but if it happens, I could see it being the Penn State game, but Ohio State scores more. Penn State got a pick 6 first drive and scored 13 points. So, like, I think that's kind of what I think happened. I think it's similar to the Penn State game, except Ohio State scores more because Penn State's a weird game, and I think Ryan, like, I have not respected the energy around this team, around this game in years, and it's finally felt how it should feels. And then you add in the talent, you add in Jeremiah Smith, you add in Caleb Downs, you add in these things. But honestly, I think the most important piece to this is Will Howard.
That's fair.
I think he has something in him, and I think he really bought into the program. I think he really bought into the players. And when he says, I want to win this for Ryan Day, when he says, I want to win this for the guys who came back as super seniors, and he names all of them who have lost this game for 3 years, I believe him. And I haven't believed, and I'm praying I don't get hurt, but I have not believed an OSU quarterback when they've talked about this game in years. And that's hard to say because I love CJ. But CJ, his biggest flaw at Ohio State is he was always an NFL quarterback. And in the NFL, you can lose 5 games and still win a Super Bowl, and it's fine. The NFL, you have to forget it. You have to flush it. That is not college football. You can't just lose games in college football. It's not the same. He's an NFL quarterback. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I don't think his mindset was great. As much as his talent, college is weird. Sometimes the mindset matters more, and I don't think his mindset really matched this game sometimes.
That's fair.
And for the first time in a long time, I think we have a quarterback that does. I think that's why I think Will Howard proves why Ryan Day went and got him in the transfer portal.
Okay. No, I can see that. I can understand that.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a blowout. No.
Yeah. So our MapQuest segment, very quickly, we've talked about all these games. Friday night, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I think you should watch that game. You used to really watch all the games on Friday. Like, are you Black Friday shopping in this economy? The deals aren't even that good. Sit on the couch.
Most people go on Thursday anyway.
Sandwich.
Yeah, someone goes Black Friday shopping on Friday.
Eat a turkey or ham sandwich. Get some mac and cheese. Eat some deviled eggs if you make whatever it is. Whatever everyone I know, no matter what it is, everyone I know has the first thing that they're eating the next day. Get that plate, those specific things you know you're eating that next day, and watch these games. But the one on the MapQuest segment is the night game, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Even if you are shopping, you're not shopping at 7:30 on Friday. There's nothing there. Noon, of course, the game, Ohio State, that team up north. We got to do it. Midday, Notre Dame, USC. Talked about it. And then our primetime game is Washington, Oregon. I'm not going to do a pit stop because I'm just going to go with what you said. Yeah, our pit stop was
earlier
when we pit crew and learn to take care of your cars.
For real.
If you're listening to this on Thanksgiving, we appreciate you. I'm going to be listening to my podcast on Thanksgiving, but people got families, you got things to do, whatever. Thank you for listening as always. And I should have done this earlier, but I forgot. This podcast from now until whenever is going to be on YouTube. Even if you prefer to listen as an audio format, I listen in the audio format. I don't listen to any of my podcasts on YouTube. Could you at least give the YouTube a follow, a subscription? It's at Get Defensive Sports Network. That is the YouTube. We're also on TikTok. I'll be posting the videos on Twitter. But whether you're going to listen here or you want to see our handsome faces, doesn't matter. But if you listen to it this far, if you could at least support by just giving a subscribe on YouTube so other people see it, we do appreciate that. And of course, it will always be on your feed on Thursday if you don't want to change your routine. But just if you could do that, that'd be great. And we will catch you next week. After rivalry week, one step closer, we will know who's in the Big Ten championship game. We'll have a better idea who's in the playoffs. I can't believe we're at this point of the year already, but it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun week.
Absolutely. We'll catch you next week.